Let's get that guy from Alberta to help us out.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 415 for July 29th, 2021. I am one of your hosts, Adriel. Dave, you're next.
I don't have my show notes up yet. Am I next?
Dave, you're next.
I'm one of your other hosts, Dave, who does not have his show notes up yet.
I'm Mo.
I'm Kyle.
And Trevor and Kelly are off. I believe they're joining the Hare Krishnas this week. And
Yes.
they're giving away with the flowers at airports? Small bells.
Small bells and flowers.
Yeah,
but you're supposed to pay them back. It's not supposed to be something that's free. No.
I just took them all and left.
That's an option. It is a gift. They expect money. But anyways, we don't need to talk about their
good for them,
whatever.
Though. It's very entrepreneurial.
Yeah. Maybe they can make some money at it. Who knows?
Yeah. Kelly's gonna have to grow her beard out.
Yeah. A lot more robes in their future for clothing. It's easier.
Yeah.
Sheets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you've only got to worry about your outer clothing. You don't have to worry about the, anything under that. So it seems like it really be a freeing experience. Yeah.
Up and out real quick.
Flowing robes.
Up and out real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. You fall in the water, you're probably hosed, but so, be careful around lakes. Not many lakes at airports though, but if you fall in the fountain, you might be in trouble.
Maybe.
I think we fell off the rails here pretty early.
Well, I'll bring us back onto the rails.
Were we on the rails?
Get railed here.
I don't know.
What we did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, they have the Mossberg Maverick 88 Cruisers. The Cruisers are pistol grip pump shotguns. They've got the 6 and 8 shot versions, depending on which one you need to defend your dumpster. And they're right around $200-300 kind of a thing. So the 8 shot's $299, and the 6 shot's probably the same. But yeah, they're both $299. Why wouldn't you get the 8 shot? Why wouldn't you always get the 8 shot? In what world would you need the 6 shot when the 8 shot is right there?
Doesn't make sense.
Look, there's the 8 shot. Tube goes to the end. Awesome. Here's a 6 shot. Tube doesn't go to the end. Sadness.
Yeah.
You gotta get the tube going to the end. Maybe the barrel length is different.
That barrel length is different.
18 and a half.
half.
20. Oh, 20. 2 inches longer. Still,
inch and a half. Learn to math.
Take it. This looks cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Anyways, go check out Calgary Shooting Center if you need a shotgun to defend dumpsters. It looks fantastic for that kind of thing. Dave, it's been a while since you've been on. Why don't you start off with what you did this week's in guns?
I am going through my guns and figuring out which ones I'm going to sell. So that's what I'm doing because I have a lot of guns and I don't shoot a lot of them. So I've decided to Adriel on them, and the ones that I don't really like my Luger that I hate, I'm going to sell some of that stuff. So I've been working on that. I cleaned a few things, sorted out some of my reloading equipment, which again, I haven't used lately because I haven't really been out shooting. And I'm looking at what matches are coming up and what I can get out to. Oh, and I went by Canadian Forces training area, Winona, and took a selfie of myself in front of it. So hoping that 2022, we can get out at Winona again and put some rounds downrange.
Hey,
and Borden, of course.
For, just in your own selfish interests and for my interest and probably some of our listeners, what kind of guns are you selling?
I don't know yet. Probably a lot of my World War II stuff. I've got some Moss and Nagants. So, I found out they're actually worth money these days, which is amazing. And I've got an SVT-40 I'm going to get rid of. I've got I think it's a 1906, the old U.S. early World War II bolt gun that they used, the 30-06. I've got a remanufactured sniper version, which I'd show you, but we can't hold guns because we're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Super lame. But I've got one of those that I'm going to sell. I've got a Moss and Nagant sniper refurb that I'm going to sell. Again, most of the range that I normally shoot at doesn't allow 30-06 anymore as of last year. So I bought it and then I never shot it. So, yeah. And then I just other stuff. I've got a couple pistols. I've got a Tokarev. I've got 2 Tokarevs. I randomly ended up with an extra one that I've again never shot. My other one I've shot, so I'm gonna sell one of those. And 455 Webley I'm probably gonna sell from 1917, along with my Luger, which is a 1917. And just assorted stuff. I've got a K11 I'm probably gonna sell because I got ammo, but I'm probably not gonna shoot it. But it's got nice micrometer sights on it, so it's kind of a fancy one. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Bunch of Milsurp stuff, sounds like.
Lots of Milsurp stuff. Yeah, I ended up buying a ton of this stuff. Just you know how it is, right? You buy one, and then you're like, ooh, and this one, if I pay a little more. My Moss and Nagants were kind of, the SVT 40s were funny because I bought one, and the guy's price was really high, so I pointed out that some of the retailers had a lower price. And he said, well, I've got some M9130s, so if you buy 2 of them, I'll basically give them to you. So I think I paid like $50 for the M9130s. And then I got the SVT for at the time was a high price, but for 3 guns, it was a hell of a deal. So,
and probably
one of those,
your investment's probably paying off, like buy low, sell high right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the SVT 40, I paid like $350 or $400 for it.
So listeners that are going to be like, what? They sold for that one time? Yep. They sold for $350.
That's like, yeah. Well, at one time I bought a couple grands for $300 and then I sold them for $400, figured I'd make quite a bit of money on them. And then I went to buy them again 10 years later when I got back into shooting and went, yep, not buying those. That's not a $2,000 rifle. Sorry, kids. Yeah. So yeah, some stuff like that, and cleaned up some of my reloading equipment because I had boxes of bullets, and cleaned all that stuff up. So I've got some buddies that are going to try to talk into reloading some ammunition for me because I need some 30-06, but or 357, but I don't have any. But I have like 500 bullets, so I'm going to talk a buddy of mine who has a progressive to reload a bunch of it for me. So
yeah, progressive's the way to go on 38 and 357.
Yeah. I've got the dies, and then I looked at it and I'm like, that's just painful.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be bothered. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah. Mo, what about you?
Last Friday, I went to a build and shoot IPSC match at Eastern Ontario, which is near Ottawa. The build part went really well. I enjoyed it. The match director, Maida Russell, does a great job. She had everything organized, and it was pretty cool to see how the stages came together and all the tweaking that goes on before the shooting actually starts. Then we got shooting in the early afternoon, and first few stages went pretty well, and then got to stage 3, and I started off well, and I go to reload, and the bottom of the base pad came out along with the spring, of course.
Nice.
And then I'd start hearing the ammo hitting the ground. Bloop, 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 bloop. and you should have seen my face. Well, I was just like horrified. And then I was flustered, and I ended up getting the 2 worst letters you can ever hear at a match, a D and a Q. So that my shooting day was done after that, because apparently my finger touched a trigger while I was trying to clear the malfunction. So I didn't protest or anything. I always said if that ever happens, I'm just going to walk away and just accept it. So I stuck around. Like I put everything away. I stuck around to patch and stuff, and then I left, and it bothered me for a few days, but then I finally got over it. It's in Ontario. As soon as you get a DQ, they put you, like, your status is suspended. So then you have to speak to the disciplinary guy, which I did, and you tell your story, and then I was reactivated. So I'm already signed up for another match.
Get up in his grill. That wasn't me. That
No.
was another guy.
No, I just walked. Like, I literally just said okay, and I walked away. Now,
Yep, that's
the only thing I could think of is, my fingers slid down, and might have been a cross. I don't know. So then during my dry fire all this week, I've been like doing the exaggerated like finger finger up off the actual frame, right? Instead of like
Wrapped around the top of the slide, just
yeah,
in
so,
case.
like literally, like I've been just like pushing it away, just getting myself used to that. So that way, there's never
Yeah.
because it was not a good feeling. Like it obviously
Yeah,
left
that's horrible.
a sour taste in my mouth for days. I mean, not only that, you get the DQ, but you don't get to finish shooting, and then obviously like the whole. Like, I don't want to be
shame.
labeled an unsafe
Shame,
person, right?
shame.
Yeah, great
You know-
shame, great shame.
You know what though, Mo? Good on you for packing up and then hanging around for the rest of the
Yeah.
day, because a lot
Yeah.
of people pissed off and they rage quit and they just march off the range, and that's
Yeah.
the worst thing.
Yeah,
the fact
and
that
I've
you
s-
hung around for the day, much respect for that. People usually
and
have
I've
no
seen
problem.
that, and I've seen that, and I always said I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, and obviously I was bothered by it, and like your rounds hitting the ground is not a good feeling. So to do a Quentin Tarantino movie style, I'll bring you back in time. And the stage before that was the biggest stage, and it was like in a sandy area, so most of my mags hit the ground. And I was rushing to like their CZ mags, pop out the bottom, and I have a brush for them, and I had cleaned them on. And I guess I didn't snap one in well enough, so it held the rounds, for a little while. But then in the force of actually putting it in, it must have like loosened, and that's what happened. So
you actually clean magazines. Wow.
it was a beachy stage. Like it's hard to, like, there was sand everywhere, and I hate sand. So it was
Yeah, but it
You
just
can't-
goes
you
to the
can't have
bottom
it
of
in
the
your mag,
magazine.
though.
It's fine.
If
Yeah,
it's
it goes to the
fine
bottom.
powdered stuff, it'll stay in the it'll
Yeah.
Give it a good tap, and there.
In hindsight, I should have left them alone, but obviously that happened. So if I ever do that again, I'm going to make sure to
Yeah.
test the
Double
bottoms
check.
that they
Did
do
it-
not snap out. So
Did anybody videotape it? Because that would be awesome.
no, and that's what the disciplinary guy, he kind of like chuckled. He's like, "Did anybody record that?" I'm like, "No."
Bummer.
And my hearing protection has great audio, because I literally heard them all like hitting the ground, like. So obviously it was a learning lesson, and I don't want that to ever happen again. So, and then what else did I do? So like I said,
your footage would it would have been funny, but it also would have shown like how egregious your finger was, whether it was like whether you were hovering off of it, like maybe you were hovering off like this, or maybe your finger was on the trigger. You don't know until it's nice to have that
like I
confirmation,
I have a feeling that it slid down and was a cross, but I don't know. Maybe I did in the frustration of trying to clear the malfunction. Maybe I did like hook it a bit, but it's possible. Like I said, but then so all week I've been trying to like push it away. So
that's the problem with getting flustered. That's the mental management part of shooting, right? Because if you're really experienced at it and you've had this happen before, next time it happens, you're going to be like, clear the malfunction, boom, back in the game, and keep going.
Well, I've had malfunctions before, but I've never had rounds hitting the ground before, so that was a different experience. So, like I said, I've got another match this Sunday, because I'm going to visit some family, so I'm going to be driving. The Hamilton has a match this weekend, so I'll be back on the horse, as they say. What else did I do? I set up my 1022 for the Maple Seed in August. I was going to buy a cheap scope like a Tasco or a Simmons or whatever, but I just ended up taking the one that I had on my hunting rifle that I only take out once a year, and it's a Vortex Crossfire, like a 3x9. So I put that on, and this weekend I'm gonna sight it, and I guess I have to sight it in 25 meters, correct, Adriel? Yeah.
And you've got that scope as far forward as possible, right?
As far forward.
You'll want it as far forward as possible. Rugers don't have enough room on the scope to get them as far forward as you want them. So get it as far forward as possible.
Oh, I always thought it's like your natural. You bring your head down, and then as long as your eye gets,
once you go prone, your head's going to be a lot further forward than it normally is, and just to get your eye relief, you're going to end up crunching your neck back. So if you can get it as far forward on the receiver as possible,
as far forward. Okay, so I'm gonna. I mean, that's a quick adjustment.
Thing.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so I'll do that before, obviously before
and get into your positions too, right? So check it: sitting, kneeling, seated, prone,
Prone,
standing,
prone.
checking in all your
Yeah.
different positions and see how it
Prone's
works.
the
Well,
worst
my
one.
new mat is still in the box.
Yeah.
I guess I'll open up the box and throw it out. Throw it on the family room floor.
Yeah.
What else? That's really it for me. So, how about you, Kyle?
Not a lot this week. I got the design for our 50 finalized and sent that in Monday for approval with the Alberta CFO. And believe it or not, they actually came back on Tuesday with an approval.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Very impressed with that. Was not expecting it that quick.
Assuming it's a pretty simple setup.
Yeah, it's modifications to our existing range. We
Okay.
have to basically put up a wall with a slit to shoot through because our
That'll
range is
suck.
almost basically in town, and we have
Yeah.
a golf course and housing development downrange of us.
Yeah. Baffles suck. Same up at the one club I belong to. They had to put baffles up because they built a development behind the berm. Essentially.
Well, we've had baffles for ages, but when they were first put in, they got approved, and they're basically telephone posts. Well, not basically; they are telephone posts, all up above. But now with the guidelines, they do not meet spec.
Did you have to do the basically a bin of gravel type of thing, or
Basically,
and concrete?
It's a wall, probably about 14 meters down range, and then on the 100-meter range, I put I could only get like a 12-inch slot to shoot through because we couldn't see ground and you can't see sky.
Yeah.
And then I was able to, on that same distance on our 50, I was able to put it to be a 20-inch window.
Okay. And
And
what's
it's
the
basically-
construction?
We're gonna do 3x10s, and then in between them is 12 inches of sand or gravel.
Okay. Yeah, it's
So
pretty
we'll
much the
have
same
like
at my
18
range.
inches of wall to stop anything if it hits. And then even the windows are trimmed with 3x10. So right around the shooting window, you'll have like 21, 24 inches thick.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So we'll be out at the range, probably starting construction on that this weekend. I think they're out there clearing up some of the stuff today and getting prepped for it. Registered for the Fort Mac IPSC match on next weekend, I think, actually. And that'll be my first time shooting production optics. I normally shoot standard, so should be interesting.
What are you going to
And
use?
Hmm?
What are you going to use?
my OZ9,
Okay.
the Delta Point Pro. So
Production. This is a production. This is like a same kind of pistol you'd find with any cop or military person out there.
Just standard run of the mill, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently I need to actually sell my spot for the Chaz 3-gun the following weekend because I brain farted when I registered, and there's a Peace River 3-gun match that same weekend. So I'll drive the 2 hours to Peace River instead of 5 to Edmonton.
Yeah, what are you shooting
Well-
for 3-gun?
Right now I am shooting, got my Benelli, and then WK-180 over here, and my STI right there that I can't show. That's what I'm shooting for 3-gun. The only thing there that's changed has been the WK because I can't use my Modern Varmint or Modern Sporter. So
Yeah, I'm expecting we'll see a lot of those at 3-gun and at CQB matches and the like service.
But so far, this WK, it's a strange one because I haven't had any issues with it this year. So the only issue I had was running polymer mags coming up against a barricade. The polymer mag was just too much play and wouldn't feed. But switched over to the just Stamag, the 50 Beowulf mags, and those are working great. And yeah, I haven't had a single issue with that gun so far. So knock on wood, and that keeps running.
How many rounds you got through so far?
1,000.
Yeah.
I'm debating getting one of those. I've got my Tavor that I was thinking of shooting, but the problem with the Tavor is that my manual of arms is all aft. So
yeah,
I'm like, change the mag.
I did see a picture. It had to be a meme where they unbolt up the Tavor. Oh, that this week. I was like,
not sure if that's the
I didn't realize you could make Tavor worse. But yeah, that's it for me. How about you, Adriel?
Cool. Yeah. Tommy says, wait till you blow a piston on the WK 180.
Yeah.
If you keep the gas block in check and in the right spot, it'll be less likely, but it's still not zero.
Yeah.
Still always a possibility
I-
to blow a piston.
I like when the charging handles break off and you're like, rack. Oh crap.
There's nothing to
That's
rack.
my
Don't worry
favorite.
about it. Yeah. It's like one of those old like World War II rifles, like the emergency ones where you had to like pinch the bolt from both sides and pull it back. Just
Yeah.
imagine it's like one of those.
Yeah.
Or you go get the aftermarket charging handle and replace it off the right off the hop, and don't worry about it. Anywho, let's see. I finally got my reg cert for the P10. The P10 is the 10 millimeter Tokarev. So that's 3 weeks after transfer approval.
Wow.
I got the transfer approval email. 3 weeks later, I finally got the reg cert, and you can't go to the range without the reg cert. So finally got it out. I took it to the range. I found out that the slide pin retaining clip, you know, that slidey clip on the side of a Tokarev that holds the slide pin in there, the slide stop. Under recoil, it was bumping back on me, and I caught one very funny clip of video that I'm gonna have to put
That was amazing.
I'm gonna have to put a watermark on it or something like that, because that looks like a video that's other people are gonna steal. So I'm gonna put a watermark on that stuff before I publicize that one. But
I
it
already
was a very,
stole
it was a very
Thanks.
funny failure. Hey, don't sell my stuff.
Putting that up on my YouTube channel. LOL, Andrew.
It's out
only
there
so-
already.
It's only
That
so
was
long
priceless.
before it's on meme of the week with that AK-47 guy or one
yeah,
of the
man.
other YouTubers. Yeah,
That was
Uh,
the best. Oh my god. I
Yeah.
laughed.
Yeah, it was
I
funny.
actually spewed
Yeah.
water. So,
yeah.
That does
And it
need to
worked
be get
perfectly
sent
with
to-
cavemanning, right? Like I did that. I do caveman tap or any kind of failure tap racket, and it didn't work, and it tap, and I brought over to the side rack. Slide pin comes out, let go. Whoop! Slide goes flying off.
like I said, if your slide hit the
Yeah.
target and broke the paper, I'd give you the hit.
I was lucky that I was on concrete, but in front of me was dirt. So and it just like into the dirt. So it was good. It didn't damage it.
Actually, wouldn't want to put a scuff on a Tokarev.
Yeah. Anyways, it was fun. I'm still waiting on a reg cert for my Wrangler that was approved July 5th. That was 1, 2, 3.5 weeks ago. How long does it take for an automated paper stuffing machine to print that reg cert and put it in the mail and get it over to me? I'm like losing it. I want to get that pistol out. It looks so cool, but it's just sitting in my safe, and it has been for 3 weeks. If this is like my first pistol ever, and they're like, oh, let's put Adriel on like just give him a little bit more time, make sure he doesn't do anything crazy. Like, okay, whatever. But like, this is not my first
Yeah.
pistol. Yeah.
You know
At this
what, man?
point,
My
they're
first
just being a pain in
AR-15
the
I
ass.
bought. My
Mhm.
first AR-15 I bought took like 2.5 months.
Oh wow.
That's
On
because you're in
Monday, I
Ontario.
went
In
in.
Ontario, they hate you,
I
though,
know.
right?
On Monday, I went in because they phoned me that my AR-15 registration had come in, so I could go pick it up. I'd ordered a handgun on Friday. It was waiting. It was good to go.
Jeez.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I don't know what they're doing over there, but I assume it's just wasting my money, wasting my taxpayer
Probably.
money. Yeah. I want to take my little 22 handgun. I want to take my tiny 22
mean-
revolver out to the range, have my kids shoot it. That's primarily who's going to shoot that gun.
Yep.
Anyways, last
I feel
weekend I did
safer.
a double header, Chaz and Sherwood Park Maple Seeds. So those went well. Weather was pretty good for both of them, and attendees were pretty squared away. There was like almost everyone had mats, for example, so that was good. I've had a couple of ones in the past where it's like only half the people brought mats, half the people are like, "We need a mat for this." It's like, "Oh man, yes, you do." I had one guy bring like a scrap of like flooring or something like that. Like, that's not gonna work.
Scrap
but,
of flooring. Okay.
Yeah.
I like sleeping bags.
Well, you just like I don't know, like a lot of people don't own shooting mats, right? And like the prospect of like, do I have to buy a $50 Cabela shooting mat just for this event? It's like, yeah, but you
I
can use a
did.
mat shooting mat for other stuff, right? Like if you end up going on the back 40 or something like that, going out in the middle of nowhere to do some shooting, you take your mat with you and you have a comfortable time, and you don't have to, like, I don't know, get the brambles and stuff on the elbows and whatnot. Anyways, now I'm rambling. The
Yeah.
maple seeds were great. We had our instructors and IATs did a lot of it. We've got a very experienced instructor corps here in Alberta, and it shows in the amount of stuff I don't have to do at those events because other people just know what's got to happen, and it just happens. I got a video out on the Rossi Ranch Hand, which is the lever action 38 357 thingamabobber. That was neat. And then the other day I saw, so Bullseye North had this sale on holsters. They were like blowing out this, I can't even remember what the holster was called, but they were like blowing them out. So I ended up picking one of those up, a double AR mag pouch. And I was thinking, what about like my, right now my kid uses, what's the Caldwell cheap one there, the Emax, which mine are like a 10-year-old set of electronic muffs. They're okay. But he's getting more into action shooting, so I thought I'd get him something like a little bit better. So I got him some Howard Light Impact Sports, which are like an okay budget headset, better than your Walkers or whatnot. And then I saw they had some sling swivel studs, the kind that you got, Mo. They had them in 12 packs for $3. So I'm like, yep, hook me up with those. So I got a couple of them, not because I need them, but because when I do need them, I like the fact that I'll have some that are like 50 cents and they're sitting in my kit ready to rock and roll. I'm just going to put sling studs in like everything, just where they don't even belong. I'll just like, I need two in this one.
Just mount one on your scope.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Just put one on your pistol so you can have a leash on it.
Yeah. Leave a lanyard on a Shadow 2. First Shadow 2 you've ever seen with a lanyard hook on it.
Yeah.
That'll
come in handy.
Mags, given what they're worth.
Yeah. No, Shadow 2. Oh, I think I did order a Shadow 2 mag. Yeah, I got another one because I only have 4 of the 40 cal ones, so I got one more. I don't think I actually need it.
If you have any springs lying around, can you send me one? Because I don't know what happened to mine. It just went flying.
All of mine are in use inside the magazines that they belong in. I have some extra bases if you need a base.
No, I'm good there.
No? All right. And then I ordered some Maple Seed stuff. So we're gearing up a bunch of shoot bosses to get going, and just prepping some stuff for next year as well. So I'm prepping for another epic run of slings. I think I'm going to do 140 this run. And I've also got my my child labor working on laminating a bunch of stuff. So
excellent.
Yeah. You know that they've had it real easy for all summer. I haven't had them do any like crap work yet, and this is a good way to get them started on it.
Payback time.
Earn your keep. And then I ordered some 34 millimeter rings from MDT. They had some of the most inexpensive yet still quality rings out there at about $100 for a 34 millimeter. So got some from them for a project yet to be named. So, and I got a rifle sitting next to me that I can't show you, but it's cool. Daniel Defense bolt action 308. Bet you didn't know Daniel Defense makes a bolt action.
I did not, but that thing is sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this weekend I might hit the range. What am I going to do? Should probably shoot that 10 millimeter some more. I'm going to try pinching that retainer clip just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more tension. So
try to keep the slide attached.
Yeah. Try to keep the slide on the gun. It shot otherwise. It was accurate enough. I'm going to shoot the steel at the 50 and hammer it with those 180s. That's what I'm going to do. That would be satisfying. Hit that little 6-inch plate with a 180. Just or maybe the big one. I don't know. Yeah, and I'll probably do some 22 stuff because one of my kids wants to do Maple Seed, but it's like you gotta like get used to it and start trying to shoot it to get there. So we'll probably go do some practice, pull some mats out, do some shooting from the mat and that kind of thing. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's about it for me. That's all of us, right? Yeah, that's all of us. Let's get on to upcoming events. Upcoming events is sponsored by Telos Alpha. Telos Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help with banking processes and business and strategic planning, and they'll steer you away from Google Ads so that you don't go on there and get some strikes, because apparently Google Ads doesn't allow like any kind of gun-related smelling stuff on their platform anymore. So if you want an ad company that knows how to run that kind of stuff, head on over to telosalpha.com. Upcoming Maple Seeds still have tickets available. Woodstock on August 8th. Saskatchewan Landing on August 14th. Regina, August 15th. Cornwall, August 15th. Check out mapleseedrifleman.com and just go to the events area on there, and you can find more events to register. WPRC will be in Woodstock, New Brunswick as well. Register now. That'll be Saturday, August 7th, and they'll be hosting their first ever ladies only event. So if you need more information on that, email wprc2005@gmail.com. Ottawa, the CCFR is back, is at it again, back by popular demand. It's another edition of our EOSC CCFR Ladies Range Day. That'll be August 28th from 9:30 to 5. No license, no experience, no problem. Come and try your hand at the shooting sports in a safe, welcoming environment with instruction. Everything's provided, including lunch. Limited tickets are available, $40. To register, head on over to Eventbrite. The news. Does someone want to take this first one from iPolitics, this court fight over the Liberal gun ban? Maybe nearing its end?
Sure, let me just pull up the article here.
Yeah. Hey, tell you what,
That
I
picture
will.
Makes me so angry.
I will share the screen so people can see which article. And I mean, if they follow the CCFR and that kind of thing, they've probably already seen it, but whatever.
Okay. So a court fight over Liberal gun ban may be nearing its end. It's basically an article says court battle that began over a year ago over the Liberal government's ban of thousands of privately owned semi-automatic rifles may head to a final hearing soon. A recent court entry in what became 7 federal court cases mounted by firearm businesses, gun clubs, 26 gun owners, and others taking part in the legal challenge shows that dates for next steps could be set by the first week of August, including a final hearing date. So some good news. At least we get a little bit of an update on that. I'm not going to read the whole article.
Yeah, it looks like it's like rolling down there talking about like people who were funding it and that kind of thing and what was going on. Anyways, that was interesting. The other one isn't really a news item, but if you have your RPAL, you might have got an email from the Gov saying like, yo, you don't have an ATT for all these other things anymore. So whereas before you had an ATT like to go to the gun range and to a bunch of other super reasonable things, now you do not. And if you want to do those things, you have to get the paper copy just in case, because that makes it more safe.
I received that email.
Did you? I haven't seen it yet, but I
I
am
have
relieved
not.
that
Check-
gang
check your
shootings
spam.
have come to an end.
Yeah, check your
Oh,
spam, your
well, it
promotions folder.
Yeah.
It went to my promotions
do
on
that.
Gmail.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, promotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
listen,
you need an ATT if you're going to a port of exit in order to take them outside of Canada, to a gun show, to a business. So if you need to take it for repair, you need to go get a paper ATT. To a business that holds a license for repair, so a gunsmith. I guess the other business could have been to sell it or something like that. I don't know, just to show them, check out my gun.
Yeah.
Or to any place where a peace officer, firearms officer, or chief firearms officer is located for verification, registration, or disposal. So any of those cases, you need an ATT now. Which
I'm thinking
is
the
a
union that
two-pager?
runs.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm thinking the union that runs things was getting upset that they didn't have enough business anymore, and maybe the union that runs the printing place, or I don't know, somebody was getting upset, so they needed to crack down on all those gang members taking their guns over to the gunsmith.
Yeah.
So
They're always super
ridiculous.
slow when I call them. Like it doesn't seem like they ever need more work.
You know, one time I got pissed off at the CFO because I had to get an ATT to go to the post office to drop my gun off in the box. So I got my ATT to the post office. The post office had a flood, so they were closed. I didn't have an ATT to go home. So I phoned the CFO and I made them give me an ATT. And they gave me an ATT for 5 minutes to go from my house from the post office to my house. And they said, "Oh, you're fine." And I'm like, "Can you give me that in writing just in case this ever comes?" "Well, no, we're not going to do that." I said, "Well, then I'll need an ATT."
Yeah.
So they gave me a number and emailed it to me.
To anyone who is subject to this legislation, they can easily see how futile and pointless it is. I think for other people, they must feel like it means something. It'll like keep the guns from our shopping malls and stuff like that. But it's like,
look at the Liberals ad they ran during the last election, right? Where they showed the dangerous guns and then the conservatives want these at your children's school. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, so people will be going, oh, thank God, look at this. This makes us so much safer.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Which it does not.
No.
Anyway.
Total pain in the butt. Anyways, the CCFR is giving away a sign. It's a neon sign. Looks kind of cool. Let me pull it up here. There's the CCFR neon sign. So for every $10 donated, you will receive one entry to win. So you could potentially win this sign. You just need to donate. That's kind of neat.
Very nice.
Check it out at firearmsright.ca/sign contest to check that out. And Dave's probably already throwing it into, you're way ahead of me, Dave. Already throwing it into the chat there on Facebook. Fantastic.
Interning like a mofo, baby.
All right. Let's get into new gun stuff. New gun stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. Bolt Action Coffee is, they make coffee. And we're a brand ambassador for them. So if you want to buy some coffee from those guys, head on over to their website, boltactioncoffee.com, and use discount code SLAMFIRE for your Bolty coffee. And I don't know, maybe they'll say thanks or something. New gun stuff. Rangeview Sports has a summer special on right now. Now, you guys were I've had vultures circling me, I feel like, about that Ruger Wrangler, which I still haven't got out to the range. I've got 4 different people asking me hey, when you're done with that, you want to sell it? Go buy your own, you filthy animals. Rangeview has them for $249. That's reasonable. That's super reasonable. So if you want a silver looking one or a black one or a bronze one, $249. Get one of your own.
That is cheap.
That is
cheap.
Very reasonable. Hey, you want to know what else is reasonable?
Yours for? It's a cheaper
I don't know that I'm going to sell it.
$248.
My kid's going to try it first. They're going to like the other pistol better, the semi-automatic, but whatever. The next one we have here is the Type 81 LMG. So right now, Tactical Imports is selling some Blem versions, and I believe they're including mags with them. I believe these Blem ones are coming with a free drum magazine. So if you want one of these with the drum, and you want something cool that's an LMG looking thing.
Weren't those $1,200 a year ago?
I think that was the regular Type 81, not the LMG. Not the LMG.
Oh, okay.
And this one comes with a drum too.
Yeah.
With 5 rounds
5-round
capacity. Yeah. But it's still a drum.
It's a neuter drum, but it's a drum.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
Does look cool. Shooter's Choice has a large estate sale. So looks like they got a pile of guns from some collector. There's over 60 long guns, 40 handguns, 30 bows, and lots of other knives and accessories and whatnot in there. So if you're looking for some cool older stuff that's in very good condition, head on over to Shooter's Choice. And then I was told that these are unobtainium and they're really hard to get at, and therefore I'm going to make them even harder to get, and you guys are going to buy them out. North Pro Sports has the CZ 457, 455, or 512 22LR 10-round polymer mags, which again are apparently they come and then they're immediately sold out. So actually I should probably check it and see if they're not sold out yet. So North Pro Sports in Saskatoon still has some of those for now. Depending on when you listen to this, they may not. The next one, Gotenda has, they're doing a summer sale. I looked through their stuff, and there's some stuff that was okay. The one that stuck out, they had some Norinco 308, or 762x51, I think is what the actual spec to. But for $359 for 500, which comes out to 72 cents per round. Pretty good. Pretty good for 308. I mean, it's surplus. It's not that accurate. I've tried that stuff. Didn't get very good accuracy out of it. Don't shoot it in your bolt hunting gun. It won't light off because the primers are super hard, and works great in my M1 Garand though. Still not accurate, but sends the rounds downrange. 72 cents anyways. Pretty good. And then SFRC Wolf has 124 grain 9mm ammo, $299 for 1,000. Very
That
decent.
seems almost back to normal.
Remanufactured.
How is
right?
that wolf
Yeah.
stuff anyway?
Yeah,
bad
remanufactured is
things.
whenever the price of ammo is like really high, remanufactured becomes price competitive. As soon as the rush is over, it's not competitive anymore. But that's competitive.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, why don't we get into the main topic? And for our main topic, we're going to talk about just expand a little bit on a topic, I guess, that we talked a little bit about last week, which was range etiquette. I think there's a lot of different things we could talk about here, but why don't we talk a little bit about first what ranges etiquette, what you do for safety, what you do to not get in trouble, and then we'll talk a little bit about differences between some different sports: 3-gun, IPSC, trap shotgun, PRS, maple seed, maybe even service rifle in there too, because I've noticed there's quite a bit of difference between etiquette in how some of these different sports are done. So we could do range first. Does someone want to step forward and talk about their range and how it works? Maybe I'll start.
For the for the indoor range that I go to, it's pretty standard. Obviously, you're unboxing at the shooting bay. There's usually a range.
You bring your case up to the bay.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
into the stall
absolutely.
that you're using.
Yeah, right up to the stall. Yeah, so everything's done there, obviously, and there's usually a range officer coming in and out most of the time for the indoor one, which I don't see at all places.
Is it public, that one?
Yeah, I mean it's no, it's a members only, so it's not
Okay.
yeah, they don't. The one that I was in the indoor one that I was a member of in Ontario, that used to the Target Sports that used to allow visitors, right? So then they would have like but then there would always be a range officer shadowing them the whole time, right? So they're not shooting independent. But for CTM in Montreal, no, it's members only. So really that's it. You're allowed to if you're a black badge holder, you're allowed to shoot with your rig on and stuff, right? As long as you're, obviously following all the safety rules there. And that's really it.
Can you walk around the range with your holstered handgun? Can you go to the bathroom with your holstered handgun? Or does it have to stay inside that front area?
I've never gone to the bathroom with it, so I'm not 100% on that, but you can walk around the range with it holstered.
As long as you have your black badge.
Because pre-COVID, we used to have like an IPSC like fun shooting night. So usually on Monday nights, we'd go and after 6 o'clock, they would close that particular because they have they have a rifle section and they have the pistol. So they close the pistol section and just let us, like, we'd set up little target and it was like a practice night, right? And we were allowed to even walk into the area, the lobby area between the two ranges and inside the range with a gun unholstered.
Gasp.
So, yeah, it was nice.
So you can actually shoot from the holster at the
yeah, and
you can
and unfortunately since COVID they haven't done the Monday nights, because in Quebec we had the curfew for a while, so the Monday nights were gone, right? So it hasn't come back yet, but that was always nice. But and it was the same rules you would follow with IPSC, obviously, right? One shooter at a time, and everyone behind the line when somebody was shooting, and we'd like RO ourselves, like not ourselves, but we'd RO the rest of the guys, whoever wasn't shooting, and
well, we'll come to the IPSC in a bit here, because I think there's some interesting rules around that. And again, just to like show some of the difference, because some people know what you're talking about in terms of like the standard range thing. Yeah. Some people don't, because some ranges, like a lot of rural ranges, there's some benches set up, and there's no rules practically. Take a gun from like out the side of your pickup truck and take it to the line and start shooting.
Oh,
it.
really?
That would be okay at some rural ranges. Yeah, that would be like standard. Yeah. Not the range you go to.
No, and then there was Galt Sportsman Club in Ontario, which I'm a member of, but I didn't complete getting into the handgun section because there was like 9. You had to do 9 observed shoots with a senior person. So I ended up moving, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But when I did the the course, club safety course, they had a specific way. So from the side tables to bring your gun to the front bench, you had to carry it a certain way. I believe it was like
Muzzle down, muzzle up.
Yeah, and there was you had to carry it exact. Yes.
Yeah.
So that was their rule for that specific range, right? So
yeah, at Aurelia, where I'm a member, you go into the indoor if you're shooting indoors. You take your cased firearm to the shooting line, you uncase it there, and you're not allowed to wear a holster or anything. So you shoot from the shooting line. When you're done, you clear the firearm and put it back down. On the action range, you can walk around with your handgun, but the indoor, we shoot through little windows and there's a bench there. So I guess people drawing and then shooting, you might get caught on the bench or whatever. You'd have to stand back.
Yeah.
So,
A little bit more. I mean, at Chaz, it's taking your gun, your cased rifle, usually from the vehicle to the line, uncasing it. Rifle can stay there, do your shooting while the range is hot. When the range is cold, either leave it action open on the table, no magazine in it, and step back and not near your rifle when the range is cold, or racked in the back. So in behind the shoot, so you can take your rifle from pointing down range, point it up, and pull it and pop it onto the rack behind the shooting positions, which is okay as well.
Does the RSO check your rifle before you leave the line with it?
RSO. The first person on the range is the RSO. So if you're the only one on the range, that's you. You're checking it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I mean, that's quite different than some of the other places. Chaz has like lights on it, so red means the range is active and firing. Green means it's cold and there might be people downrange, so you're not allowed to handle firearms or anything like that while it's green.
Yep.
At Sherwood Park, they use a curtain, so like a curtain with snow fence. So curtain goes down, no shooting, go down range, set some targets, that kind of thing. Come back, curtain goes up, and the range is hot again.
Oh, really? They use a curtain.
So the curtain's across the firing line.
Mm-hmm. It's snow fence. It's just snow fence on a roller, and it's like really big and long, and it's a very tactile way of knowing you're not supposed to be like handling guns or doing anything downrange, because you can't. There's something in the way that that is blocking you.
It's not just a flag off in the corner; it's like in front of you, right? So
it's like some ranges will do like a red flag on the bay. Like if you're active on that bay, put up a red flag. Yeah. I don't really see the point. I appreciate something that warns other people on the same range that you're doing stuff. Yeah, but I'm not sure about the flags, if they're like a lot of utility or not. Like I like the lights. I like the snow fence. It's obvious. Yeah.
I think if you're training your members to always look in the direction of the flag, then it works, right? So if you're looking, oh, it's green, I'm good. Oh, it's red, I have to follow these certain rules now. So
half the ranges I've been to as a guest, they forget about the flag. Whoops, that's supposed to be down. Oh, that's supposed to be up. And
yeah, true.
Is that doing something? Is that doing something for you right now? Yeah, I'm not sure.
When we're shooting CQB at Borden, we put a bay there. There's 5 flags up around the entire bay because it's got 9 bays there, and they're 100-yard bays. Well, we're down at the 35 when we're shooting. So what we do is the bay flag is up in red all day while we're down range, so other people going by know that it's in use. And then you don't go front of the firing line unless you're under the command of the RSO, and everybody's been very well trained that you don't go forward to that firing line until the RSO says, prepare to move, safety's on, go to the next line. And then you've got your safety person with you as well. So if you start moving, they're going to grab you. And then with service rifle, we're shooting on 500-yard ranges. Off of a mound, there's a flag at the end of the bay, and everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody has their commands. But once in a blue moon, you do get somebody who just isn't realizing that they're supposed to shoot from where they're standing, and they'll start to take a couple steps forward and get grabbed and dragged back by their safety guy.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that curtain. That's actually a pretty good idea. When I do my plinking days, we have everybody brings tables. You put your kit on the table. I have a line 10 yards behind that. When the flag is green, when I say that it's safe to go down range, everybody is forward of the tables or behind the lines, because people will just not think about it. and they'll go pick up brass under their table and touch guns and play with stuff while people are downrange. So you just got to keep an eye on that as an RSO.
Yeah.
But CQB, we unkit against the sides of the range, and then you holster your gun, sling your rifle, and walk around with it all day. It's fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Well, Wapiti, we got basically three kind of distinctive areas. So we got our shotgun, which is our skeet, trap, 5-stand, sporting clays. And there, well, first off, you go into the clubhouse and you have to sign in. We get cards. You just swipe, choose what discipline you're shooting, and then go. Shotgun, you can unsleeve your gun right at your truck. Action open. So if it's a break action, like an over under side by side, break the action open. If it's like a pump or semi, bolt back, have it locked back, and then muzzle up or down, and then go shoot your rounds. Actually, that brings up one that we'll talk about later on. When we're talking about clays, I just thought of one. But now we have an indoor range as well, and that one you bring your cased firearm in, and we do have like a kind of like a gathering room outside of the indoor range where you can unbox and then safely take your handgun. You can't load your ammo until you're actually on the line, but from there you can shoot inside. We do allow holsters inside if you're holster certified, and like we have benches in front that they just lift up. So if you're gonna start drawing from a holster, you can, and it's in the way, you can pull up the table and just lean it off to the side.
Oh, that's great. Like that.
Yeah. And then once they're open, you have the outdoor ranges, so our 100 meter, 50 meter, and our pistol bay. And there, same thing, we can unsleeve, unbox your gun at your vehicle and go to the line. We don't like when firearms are left on the table though. So when we do call cold range, we have to put our rifle back. Yep. Put them up in the rack.
Yeah.
I think on the odd time, because there's a couple guys that have these big expensive bench setups, like $10,000 rest that just like almost a micrometer for adjustment. We let him keep his gun set up, but we ask that he pulls the bolt out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like not even open, just pull the bolt all the way out. And these guys are cool with that, but we really encourage people to just rack them.
Yeah.
We do, as far as flags. So we don't have flags for the shotgun or for the indoor. There's a light when you go into the group meeting area. There's a light when the lights are on the indoor range, just saying it's active range. And for the outdoor ranges, we have a flag that, like we were saying, basically stays up all the time. And it's just in between ranges saying that they basically could be active. And then on our 50, we don't have any lights or anything. It's 50 meter range. You see down there. Same thing with our pistol range. Like our pistol is different. Well, it's different shooting line, so it's a moving shooting line. So with that, you're shooting at the same. And this is one that really has to be watched. You can't have a guy shooting at 7 meters and then that guy shooting at 15. Who's ever, you guys got to talk together and shoot from the same line, because there's nothing breaking up the lanes on the outdoor pistol. And we do allow a little bit of lateral movement on that. So if you wanted to just do a quick little slide shuffle, you could do that. And then for the 100 meter, we have a light for when you're going down range. Throw on a beacon that comes on. And actually, once we do reopen the 50 and 100, there will be an RO down on those ranges at all times.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, already we're seeing like there's quite a bit of difference in between even just the ranges themselves, right? Like there's some stuff that would be fine at one range and would not be fine at another.
Absolutely,
so you definitely have to watch your
Yeah,
orientation.
I've had some people at my range telling me that, oh, this is unsafe. How could you be doing that? I'm like, it's not unsafe and it's fine. And if you don't want to participate, you may feel free to leave or go complain. No one will pay attention to you. But
it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Like if all you
It
know
totally
is if all you knew is Maple Seed or IPSC, and then you went to a regular range that does the regular range stuff, you'd be like, whoa, this is a lot less than I see at IPSC or at Maple Seed or something like that, right?
We have 10 guys moving and shooting at the same time. IPSC people sometimes when they first show up have a real hard time with that. This is unsafe and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Well, no, it's not. So, you know,
But you also,
whatever.
I mean, we might as well jump into it. Like, so you're talking service rifle, and the other thing that service rifle has, yes, you have like 10 people on the line, but you also have 10 safety people, right? Like you have because you're shooting in relays, the people who aren't shooting and have bombed up their mags are watching the people who are shooting, right?
That's for CQB. So for CQB,
just for
the
CQB.
35 down to 10 yards, every single shooter, because we are so close together on the range, you have a safety person who is within
Mhm.
arm's reach of you at all times. So if you go to run or you go to shoot at the wrong time, they're going to grab you. And
Yeah,
that's because we've got 10 people, you're 10 feet apart,
Yeah.
but sometimes we're moving and shooting at the same time. So you need to stay in your lane. So your person, it's not unsafe. Like I said, IPSC guys will freak out about it. It's
How the
fine.
military practices. If the military practices that
Exactly.
way, and if it was unsafe, someone would have been hurt by now, and they would have changed it.
Exactly. It's perfectly safe, depending on how you run it, and we run it in a fashion. Now, I wouldn't have 10 shooters by themselves running all over the range because, as Mo found out, you're focused on your one thing, and that's all you can do. So the safety person is just there to keep an eye on things and keep you safe. But yeah, like at other matches and ranges I've been, they're like, nope, it's one shooter. Doesn't matter if you're 500 yards apart. It's one shooter. That's it.
And then, Mo,
And
why
then
don't you?
with service rifle,
Yeah,
we do
go ahead.
rundowns, but you're like 25 feet apart doing a rundown with a safety on 100 yards, and you're running straight towards a target. And when you reach the other end, safety's off and you shoot. So,
But you're loaded, right?
yep, loaded, ready to go. Yep, you're carrying the rifle by the forestock as well, so it's not like people are running with their fingers on the pistol, their hands on the pistol grip. So,
Forestock. How's that?
yep, you're holding. I'd show you how it works, but
Just one,
So
just one-handed on the middle
if
balance
this is my AR-15 and this is my magazine, I'm holding the gun here, running
I
down
see.
range
Okay.
with it. So
Yeah.
a field carry,
Okay.
That's where you need the carry handle.
or your scope. Just grab the scope. Just
Yeah.
run
Yep.
down range. Fine.
Yep.
Whatever.
So you guys run with loaded guns but with safety on, and then when you get to the spot, you do your shooting, and that's that's relay style shooting. Relay style is like there's a batch of people all doing the same thing at the same time, right? All shooting their own
Exactly.
individual targets down range.
I've shot some matches on really big ranges where we had 25 or 30 people shooting all at the same time. It was pretty awesome. That you need multiple ROs for.
Yeah.
And then,
Mhm.
an RO and a couple of AROs with bullhorns to keep everything organized. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and it's somewhat similar to Maple Seed. Maple Seed's also, it's not relay, but like everyone, it's just one big relay. Everyone shoots at the same time. Everyone's on the line. But Maple Seed uses a couple of different things to kind of like layer on the safety. So there's when the guns go cold, they go like stone cold dead. Like there's nothing in the chamber because there's a chamber flag in there. There's no mag. There's a safety on, and they are only addressed in a certain way, and all the guns are checked against that by multiple people. So it's like that's like one of the safest ranges you can be on because there's so many layers that they put on, even though multiple people shooting at once, and we have like quite young shooters and that kind of thing happening as well. Multiple
And we do
ROs
the same
on
thing
that.
Same thing at CQB. When you're done shooting your relay, mag out, ammo out, safety
Chamber
guy
flag?
checks the gun, point it down range, pull the trigger, close the dust cover on an AR, and then you sling it, or you point, click, bang with your, well, not bang, hopefully that happens once in a while, but click with your pistol, and then you holster your pistol, and then you're cleared. And with service rifle, before you come off the line, the RO goes down, checks every single rifle, and it's bolt forward, hammer down, and pick the gun up. So.
So in service rifle, the way you can tell a safe rifle is the dust cover's closed, and the way you can tell a safe pistol is it's holstered and there's no magazine in it.
And your hammer is forward if it's a hammer gun.
Yes.
So anytime, and we're always looking for that, because if somebody's got their hammer back on their pistol, they're either gaming or they're an idiot and they've been playing with it and racked it. So we keep an eye on that. And then if a dust cover's open or a bolt's back, over to the side, clear the gun
Or
again.
a mag's in.
It's not safe. Yeah. Mags are
Yeah.
in that sort of stuff. So, and when you're handling the weapons, when we're just walking around the range or whatever, there's never a mag in it. And if you want to play with the gun, you got to check it or disassemble. You go over to the berm, and you point it into the berm, and you do your tinkering then, and never a magazine in.
Yeah. And usually, like, do you guys have a table there, like a safety table kind of a thing, or is it just in the berm? Just in the
It's
berm.
just into the berm, and there's so many people walking around. Everybody knows the rules. So once in a while, you hear somebody go, "Hey, the hell are you doing?" Because some new guy was over there going, "Hey, check out my pistol." What are you doing, dummy? So,
Yeah. I guess there's a safety area. Kind of brings us into IPSC. Mo, did you want to cover how IPSC safety works and what's the correct etiquette there? Mo's frozen. I thought he was just being really pensive, and he was like, and he's like thinking, but no, I think he's frozen right now. so in IPSC,
Mo, speak to me, Mo.
Wake up. It's okay.
He's catatonic. In IPSC, there's a safety table as well. A lot of the stuff you're talking about, though, Dave, in IPSC, it would be you're disqualified, you're off the range, and you're done, right? They take a no nonsense policy to a lot of that stuff. Hey, Mo, we're just talking about IPSC and the etiquette around it.
Action there for a second.
Yeah. So we just mentioned like safety tables.
That was just going to say the safety tables, the big one, the boxing, unboxing, all done there. The no ammunition. Obviously, you can have ammo in your pouches, but you're not supposed to be touching them, handling them at all.
No bombing up mags. At the
exactly. There's no and obviously that's a pretty big rule. And then did you guys talk about the 180 rule?
No, but actually that's a good time to bring it up. I mean, those other sports have a 180 rule as well, but yeah.
Yeah, and muzzle down range would be important in all types of shooting, right? But definitely in an action sport, right, when you're moving left to right, front and back, that you can't be breaking that 180 with the muzzle. Yeah. So any movement you're doing, you always have to make sure that muzzle's not breaking that line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think one interesting thing about IPSC that's different from those other, though in those other sports, you're supposed to keep it as much downrange as possible. Whereas in IPSC, it is strategic to not have it all the way downrange sometimes. If you're running back up range, for example, and just pretend like this is downrange, like you can run like this and that's okay. And sometimes you're going to do that because that's going to be the best way to run. Or sometimes it'll be with your arm behind you, but it doesn't have to be straight back range. It just has to be not breaking the 180.
Yeah, and you can be engaging targets left to right as you're moving forward or even back, and you're obviously your muzzle's not pointing straight down range during that shooting, right? And the other one is the finger on the trigger. You can't take more than one step. Obviously, you can't be on the inside the trigger guard while clearing a malfunction. Which perfect topic, right? And what happened there?
Oh, Dave's just like phasing in and out from Mo here.
I'm
that's so
that's
funny.
throwing me off. I'm like,
sorry for our audio listeners, but you're gonna be here.
You're gonna have to go watch it.
That's funny. Where was I?
No finger on the trigger. You can only take one step. Max,
one step. That's right. Yeah. And then there's that fine line about because I've heard people talk about it, like when you're shuffling your feet side to side, when is it a step and when is it not a step, right? Like for me, I try to get the finger off no matter whatever movement I'm doing. So I'm not going to get called, well, you took a step, your finger was on, right? So
IPSC, let me call my lawyer.
IPSC lawyer,
shuffle.
Should have a range lawyer on retainer at in your squad. Yeah.
The other one is I guess if you drop your gun when you're not shooting, you're supposed to obviously stay close to it so it's secure and call an RO over, and then they'll pick it up and they'll reholster it for you.
See, that rule I never got with CQB. If you drop your gun and it's not on the line, no one cares. If anybody sees you, we just laugh at you because you dropped your gun.
You dropped your gun. Yeah. No,
you're safe direction, holster it. You're fine. If you're on the line, you drop your gun. Well, pick it up, keep it pointed down range, but at that point, unload, because if you fell or dropped your gun, you're all flustered and stuff. So that's the end of shooting that particular string of fire. But we don't disqualify people. It's fine unless they sweep the line with it. You're gone. But
Yeah.
get to the end of it. You're out this line. Next relay, you shoot again if you want.
Yeah, if you drop your gun in 3-gun, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
done.
haven't had anyone drop their gun in Maple Seed yet.
I would hope not. It's a rifle.
I haven't had anyone. It's
hard to
going to
drop.
happen eventually.
Yeah.
Someone's going to slip
Yeah.
and fall.
Yeah.
But I haven't had it happen yet. Yeah, so like IPSC's very safe. It's got a lot of rules on it to make
Absolutely.
sure it's safe. PRS sports are kind of interesting. I've only really shot the CRPS versions, the rimfire versions, but they're interesting in the safety things that they do versus not do. For example, like when you're moving between positions, generally you need your safety on or you need the bolt back. So when you're moving your rifle, it can't be hot. You've got to either have it safe or have the bolt back, which is interesting. But then a lot of the rest of it is I don't know. Your guns just go back and forth from the rack to the line, or they leave them on the line with their bipods out and all just in a big line, kind of on the shooting line there. That's normal.
When I did the Meaford long range shoot, we had, I don't even know, like 100 rifles, and they're all lined up right down the middle of the range. And some guys were getting kind of freaked out because, I'm standing up here and all these rifles are pointed at me. There's chamber flags in all of them, and I've checked them all. You're fine, man.
And
No problem.
Based on my experience with Maple Seed, seeing like hundreds and probably 1,000 rifles at this point pointed down range, guns don't kill people.
No.
I've seen them. Yeah, none of the ones that I've ever observed have. They just sit there.
Same with our service. You've sometimes got all the rifles sitting behind you, and you're just sitting there having lunch with all the guns pointed at you. But whatever, where there's 20 guys sitting in a circle and they've all got their guns beside them pointed into the circle, but no mags are in. They're all checked. Chambers are cleared. Who cares? It's not unsafe.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, with Maple Seed, we have a line bosses. We'll always leave someone back at the line. So if there's a bunch of guns behind, we'll leave someone there, not to watch the guns, more to watch maybe someone coming onto the bay, maybe someone coming back a little bit too early and making sure that they stay away from the guns while
It's
people
the
are
same with
downrange.
us. Weapons are never left unattended.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You don't know.
Yeah, or holstered. And then there's 3-gun. 3-gun has some of these rules and some of the range rules. So depends on the range you go to. Some of them will have a safe area where you uncase your rifles, similar to an IPSC. There's a lot of cases though, so sometimes that's got like practicality issues with it. You always have to rack those guns. Your pistols generally just stay holstered. Now, in 3-gun, at least the clubs that I know, if your holster can come off or your belt can come off, you can leave your handgun in your holster in the belt and just like take it off and then leave it on the bench or whatever and just go re-belt up at any time. And that's fine. As long as that pistol stays in the holster, it's not going to come out, and it's fine.
Now, the ones I've been at, if you're not holstered, it's action open on the safety table pointed into the berm or into the safe area.
Yeah, that's an option at a lot of the ones that I've been to as well, or just in the holster on your belt. Yeah, if it's holstered and it doesn't come unholstered, except when under the direction of the RO, then it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the sports we're talking about, you are given all your commands from the RO. So other than like, you step up to the line and the RO still starts telling you what to do, and there's a very specific course of fire, a specific way that thing runs, and they'll all just follow that. Chris W was saying too many different rules for the same thing at various ranges. The common rules should be standardized. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think there should be one way of doing it. Like one of the things we were talking about was like whether you leave the rifle on the table or whether you rack it. Like that should be standardized. That shouldn't be something that just like varies between ranges.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Do you guys move between your bays with your holster, with your rifle holstered, or do you have to box everything up, move to the next bay?
Pistol holstered, and then rifle, shotgun in 3-gun, action open, pointed up.
Okay.
Or if you're going to put it on a baby cart, chamber flag in, pointing down. That's okay too.
So I was at an IPSC match, and I had no idea because I didn't know how this worked. So I'm like, they're like, okay, we're moving to the next bay. So I'm like, okay, grab my rifle and my shotgun, holster, go to walk around the corner, and somebody basically jumps on me, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Everything has to be boxed up before you move to the bay. And it was literally 5 feet from one table to the other table. It's an Ontario rule at this particular club. The
Oh, at
CFO
that, okay.
requires you're actually, you don't have an ATT to go to the other bay. So everything has to be boxed. I'm like, trigger locked and everything. And they're like, well, you probably don't have to trigger lock, but everything has to be boxed. So unload everything, put it all into the
lot's
boxes.
not the range, right? I've heard of
Okay,
that. I've heard of like
exactly.
the bays getting certified, but not the whole range. And then therefore in between the bays, and that's all like no man's land. You're not supposed to have like a handgun
Wow.
and a holster or
Exactly.
anything like
It's
that.
insane.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, but apparently the CF, they had people walking around the club out in the parking lot and, you know, between the bays and the parking lot area. and
Driving in
somebody
their
from the
car?
s-
Holstered
No,
guns and
they were
stuff?
just
No?
walking from
Mm.
bay to bay and socializing, and the CFO showed up and had a kitten. So
Huh.
because, you know, mass shooting or something, I don't know what they expected to happen, but they had a fit and you know, threatened to lock the club
Yeah.
down if they didn't do that. So
And now when you try doing it, they do the no, we don't do that here.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm like, okie dokie.
Yeah.
Depends on the
Yeah.
province too, and what it's not
Yeah.
just Chris. It's not just the range. Sometimes it's the province that you're in,
Yeah.
and the individual rules that the CFO there has decided to hand down from on high for no reason.
There's some ranges. I'm not a member of any of them that have like extra rules on there. They're like extra fuddy, like no rapid fire, no
Yeah.
steel
Yes,
core ammo,
yes,
no steel
yes.
core ammo, even if you're just shooting paper. It's like what's the difference?
The fear is you're going to get a ricochet if there's a rock in the backstop or something
There
like
shouldn't
that.
be rocks in
but
their backstop.
No.
Shouldn't be rocks
Depends
there.
on the range you're shooting at.
Yeah.
I've shot in a few where there's quite a bit of rocks on the ground and
Yeah.
on the backstop, but
You'll
not
get
in
a
Ontario.
ricochet with regular ammo. Just the steel is like you could spark. The steel could spark. So if you're on like a desert range and there's like shrub that's like tinder and you're shooting steel core on steel targets, yeah, it's going to cause some sparks and could start a fire. So I guess there's some
I started
practical
a
reasons
fire
there.
with copper jacket on a steel target, so set my indoor
Alright.
range on fire. But luckily, we got down with fire extinguishers and put it
Indoor
out.
range. Yeah.
It hadn't been cleaned up in a long time.
Yeah, if you don't clean those things, a lot of us unburned gunpowder ends up on the floor. Yep.
It was
Mhm.
quite alarming. We had to clear the guns very quickly and get the hell down there. So,
Yeah. Do you guys so when you go to the let's talk a little bit about like in bay and just like etiquette, nice to have versus mandatory in bay. Now, if you were to set up on like 100 meter center fire, would you take your 338 Lapua out next to someone else and start shooting it?
Absolutely.
I would place myself
No,
as
I
far from
would.
as possible because I don't
Yeah.
like being near other people.
I would
anyway.
try to place myself as far as possible. And if it was really bad, I might try to put like a bin or something in the way, like best effort, a bin or something to keep the muzzle blast from hitting them right in the face.
Yeah.
So, like we have
Or-
actually have like a front wall with a little window, and so if you have a muzzle brake, it's encouraged to get that muzzle brake outside of
Okay,
the
Yeah.
room.
Good idea.
that's a good idea.
I used to have a Mini 14. Mini 14s eject absolutely flat sideways. So if I was shooting that thing, I had to be right of everyone else or at least 10, 15 feet away because otherwise they'd start catching brass in the side of the head. And I
Yeah.
discovered that when I was shooting with a buddy and I was shooting alongside his pickup truck. And I wondered what that noise was. I'm like, bang, ting, ting. I'm like, that's weird. Ting, thunk. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. That's weird. Bang, ting, thunk. And then I realized I was taking chunks out of his paint.
Oh,
Man, my gun's making a weird sound.
yeah.
No idea.
Hear this echo.
It
Yeah,
must
it
have been.
was weird.
It must have been hail.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big thing at a lot of ranges. If you have a semi that doesn't eject forward or you're doing rapid fire, make sure you're at the right of everybody or whichever. Yeah, right of everybody.
If your table's big enough, you can put like a bin or something in the way
Yeah.
to stop most of them too. Like if you're shooting a semi-automatic, you might want to keep your brass anyways, so it's kind of handy, and it saves on cleanup time afterwards.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I imagine with your guys' ranges, you have to sweep up your brass after you shoot, right? Clean it up.
Yes.
Can't just leave it on the ground for the next person.
No, and on the military ranges, they inspect the range after you're there, so you better pick
Ooh.
everything up.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
and grab your targets from downrange.
Oh yeah, you leave it.
Yeah.
We're like the Boy Scouts. You leave it better than you found it.
If I know the other people that are shooting at the range, and I'm going to go to another bay, I might ask them like, hey, next time you go down range, would you be able to grab my targets for me, just to not have to call a ceasefire when they're right in the middle of a string, but only if I know them and I can ask them that. But that's something that I think speeds things up, makes it so I don't have to interrupt them. Yeah.
And they don't have to make you wait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but like some of the muzzle blast and the noise, like that's just part of the range. Like when I was when I was a lot younger, I felt bad about it, but now I just don't. I just shoot my AR or my braked whatever at the range, and so be it. Like I'm not going to park next to the like dad with his two little kids there shooting their 22 and start ripping off like mag dumping my my MCR with the big brake on it or anything like that. But at the same time, I will be doing that somewhere on the range, somewhere in the base. Maybe not next to them, but
Well,
It's
there's
not-
only
it's-
so much you can do about that, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the ranges I'm at, they have a 50 cal. Well, they had a 50 cal night before they all got banned. So if you went out on Wednesday nights, you can shoot whatever you want, but be aware that the 50 cal guys are out. And there's like 10 of them shooting at the same time. And it's very unpleasant. So
that's as long as you have like good earplugs. I think it's fine. It's just some guys don't have good earplugs, or they have like the headsets, and those headsets they don't do as good a job as earplugs.
well, those are double plug nights. You show up on that.
Yeah.
And then you time your shooting. So when they're shooting, you're not going and flinching every time they pull the triggers. So basically, don't go to the range that night. Those guys are there.
It's good practice for your rifleman's bubble. Like if there's
It's
people
true.
shooting their 50s off, like you gotta just focus on what you're doing and not worry about those people. Keep yourself in that rifleman's bubble.
You know, it's not the noise that bothers me. It's the blast hitting my face because I'm about to squeeze the trigger, and then all of a sudden,
Make it
I just-
happen. Make it
yeah,
happen, Dave.
I find it hard.
Bubble.
Hard
We'll learn
to be in
about
a
that, Mo.
bubble when there's a 50 cal next to you going, hey, look at me, I got a 50 cal. Hey.
Bubbles coming up at Maple Seed, Mo. At Maple Seed, if you're not on the far left, you may get brass getting spit at you, and you might have hot brass hitting your elbows and giving you little sweet kisses.
So I should take the far left. Okay, got it.
take
Yeah,
the far left and maybe a thin long sleeve shirt.
Yes,
Thing
long
on
sleeve
sleeve,
shirt, good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a.
And
that's a
it's
good
only
idea.
22 most of the time, so
Yeah.
just man,
It's
just-
still hot. Every one I'm at, we get people like that get burns. They get like little
when you
brass
get the
burns on
burn
the
under your
elbow.
arm. Yep.
Every once in a while, it goes down your shirt, and those ones are spicy because they're getting held against you. Or a lot of the bigger, chunkier guys who have some like COVID thickness around the inside, like their shirts start to pull up, and that's like the perfect spot for a little brass to like go right on there.
Yeah,
Adriel
would
doesn't
feel
tell
good.
you it's him with a cigarette walking behind. Oh, look at that brass. Oh, that's terrible.
No, stay in your bubble.
Yeah, bubble. Bubble. Ah.
Yeah, no, it's hey, you gotta it's good practice to not be distracted and work with
Yep.
distractions, because not all your shooting can be done without distractions. When that
True.
deer comes out, you might be in an uncomfortable position to take the shot, or
Might have Adriel behind you with a cigarette, burning your arm.
might be thinking about Bambi, the movie. I don't know.
Bambi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about for etiquette? Anything else was like burning you guys that you really wanted to cover? It's weird. It varies by range, varies by discipline. You
Yeah,
gotta know
that's
what.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting all the different rules.
The big thing I find is when you're at a match or a range and you don't know, you haven't been to that range before and you haven't shot that particular match, watch what everyone else is doing. And if
Yeah.
everyone else is doing something, you should be doing the same thing. And if you're not sure, ask.
No,
'Cause
absolutely.
Yeah.
nobody's going to think
Yeah.
you're stupid if you're like, hey, man, I don't know how this works. What am I supposed to be doing? It's far
Yeah.
better to ask than, be that guy. Don't be that guy.
No.
One thing at IPSC matches that I've seen is everyone's practicing except for the new guys. The new guys like do it once and they feel like self-conscious and they like step away. Everyone's
Yeah.
like air gunning and doing all this stuff, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Nah, good, I got it." It's like, no, you don't.
No,
There's
yeah,
a pro over there, and they're still practicing. You don't
It's
got
true.
it.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
Yeah. So if you see other people
I've been doing a lot more of that now, and it helps. It absolutely helps. So
I like the meme for it, the Mick IPSC, which is the Men in Black guy, and he's like, "Shooter, are you ready?" And
Yeah.
stand by, and the flash. I'm like, that's exactly how it works because I got everything laid out in my head, and then the buzzer goes off, and I go, "Hi, oh yeah, I guess I'll shoot stuff." And that's the difference between people that are good at it and people who aren't. It's just your mental management.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get past the I'll just shoot stuff strategy.
Chris
Kyle, you're
says,
gonna say
don't
something?
stay too long when there's a line of people waiting. Let other people shoot too. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, man. Be courteous to other shooters.
If the range is busy,
Yeah.
try to.
Aware of your surroundings, and don't be that guy shutting down the range after wanting to shut down the range every string to go check your target or something.
Yeah.
Bring binoculars or
I don't
something
know,
that you
I
can
haven't
see
run
the
into one of
targets
those yet. I have not ever run into. Everyone is like they put up multiple targets, bring binos, or bring a badass scope on one of your rifles. Then you don't need that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, you had something else you wanted to say?
Maybe not be stressed so much, but like muzzle discipline. Even
Hmm.
like we covered it on the shooting sports side, but just normal regular day at the range. I mean, don't start field carrying your rifle to the range. It may not be like written in the range rules, but that's just good form, good etiquette.
Again,
sure.
watch what everybody else is doing.
And actually, because I saw on the list that we were going to talk about some shotgun stuff too, because
Oh
And
yeah,
this is
the trap
one-
stuff. Yeah.
this is one I actually see quite a bit. Is like with the clay sports, basically sporting clays, you have your stand, so you don't load you walk into the stand with your shotgun open, bolt back. You don't load until your shotgun is through your window. The one I find happens more often than not, and especially it's just the casual guys. They're trying to be cool, so they unload, and instead of either using the ejector and catching, or just pulling the shells out and putting them in the garbage, they're breaking their gun open and trying to dump it out of the gun into the
Oh.
barrel.
I don't like
Uh,
that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone do that.
I've seen a lot of people do
Huh.
that, and it's like, is it really that hard to break? Boom, boom. Okay. Instead of getting all twisted out of contortion and
Oh,
Trying
that's
to-
weird.
yeah.
Huh.
So,
You also see people like resting the muzzle of their shotgun on their shoe, right?
yeah.
That
Well, and
trap.
that's what's kind of different with the trap and the sporting clays is they're not. If your shotgun is broke, like it's still encouraged. Like it's starting to become more and more encouraged to watch your muzzle. But if your shotgun's broke open and your action's open, they are a lot less lax on the muzzle discipline, because they make products that you lace into your boot to actually rest the muzzle on the toes of your boot.
Yeah.
For shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if anyone from like the dynamic shooting sports wants to go get their blood pressure up or something, go shoot a clay shooting sport and see how many muzzles you get pointed at you.
Well, same when people walk off with a shotgun, right? They've got it broken up, hanging over their arm or over their shoulder. I've seen people do
Mhm.
that. I'm standing right behind them,
Well-
looking down the muzzle. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not
And that's
loaded.
actually, you see that too. And it's always told
It's
in
not
the
loaded.
briefs to barrels forward, broken over your shoulder if you're going to carry it that way. Always muzzles forward.
I mean,
There's
if you
not a
at
whole
least
lot
if you
on
see
the
down
shotgun
a
side.
at least if you see like down a broken shotgun, you can, and you're looking straight down the barrels, you can be like, oh, I can see air. So it's
Yeah.
safe.
Well, go hunting.
Not
Go
loaded.
hunting sometime. See how many times you get swept. So
Never.
Yeah.
I would be
No.
pissed. I would be pissed.
I
Oh,
had,
I
had to have
some
a
strong
chat with a
words.
few people.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Good old
Yeah.
boys from the bush, right? They're just like, whatever. Just a shotgun. You got it over your arm. I'm like, that's loaded, dude. What the hell?
All the
I'm gonna
guys I
move.
hunt with also shoot 3-gun. So
Yeah.
Mm.
See,
I
that's
can
good.
expect a higher
Competition
caliber
shooting.
of safety from them. Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy
Competition
has
shooting is
done
good
it a
for that
couple
stuff.
times, and every time I look and basically tell him to go fuck himself, because he'll stand there and just, oh hey, dude.
Is that loaded? Yeah, but the safety's on. Oh no, it's not.
Oh yeah, now it is. Now it is.
Whoops. Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're good. I've noticed that with a lot of people that don't shoot competition shooters, I've noticed, and people who play paintball as well. If I hunt with people that play paintball, their finger never is their finger on the trigger. And competition shooters, like guys I went hunting with that shot. I was with a couple other guys that shoot competition, and they were loaded, safety on. I mean, muzzle down, and you walked in front of them, the muzzle would go somewhere else. Like they were very inches of their muzzle. And sort of the good old boys that just hunt. I mean, safeties are on. It's not a huge deal, I guess, but it's a bad idea to have your muzzle near anybody else. And they were not as conscious. But it's
Yeah.
just, they carry them all the time in the woods, and they're just very casual about it.
Yep. Scope is used as a spotting scope or binos off and that kind of thing, right?
Comes off the snowmobile, you get the barrel in there and that track back on.
All right. Anything else to cover for range etiquette or safety? Let's move on. Listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood and refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, little rubber nib things that you put in your shoe so you can rest your shotgun on it, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca.
Shoe nibs.
I don't know.
We've got a ton of emails looking for those.
I think you should DIY. That's a DIY. That's like you get some of that shoe goo and you just like drizzle it on your shoe and you're done, right? That's all.
I was thinking more like a 2x4, and you could like shoot a hole in it, and then you can rest the gun in the hole. Especially with your
Take your
shotgun.
foot out from under the board before you shoot it.
Yeah, well,
What if you got an old
I
shoe and
guess.
you shot a hole through it first, and then you like you just rest your shotgun, and everyone would be like,
And paint,
shot himself there before? Is that
paint
is that
around
okay?
it. You got to paint around it with red paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's no toes there.
Maybe do your shirt
Not
too.
anymore.
Anyways, we've been showcasing the Facebook and YouTube comments as people have been going. Mr. Tom was asking if we got any more of that comfrey stuff, and I don't actually really. Comfrey's a plant, I'm pretty sure, and that's all I know about it. So no comfrey.
I'm googling that.
No, Facebook. Yeah, so we've been handling those emails. No emails this week. Patreon, Instagram, nothing to talk about now. If you'd like to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. If you want to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio and sign up, and we will send you a patch and sticker in the mail, or hand deliver it, maybe, if you're lucky. Shoutouts. I've got one to all the Alberta Maple Seed instructors who make my job easy. A lot of our guys are like at 10 to 20 events they've instructed at, so they know their stuff. They know when it needs to happen, and nothing gets missed. Nothing ever gets missed. So it's fantastic having such a skilled crew around to help out with those events.
Awesome.
Kyle?
Yeah, I got an unusual one. You don't really hear. I want to shout out the Alberta CFO for being so quick on their approval of our range design.
Ooh. You should go give them a good Yelp review.
Fantastic. Dave?
I ran into Lyle this morning from up Springwater Way, and he commented on the shirt I've been wearing all day. He's like, "Hey, awesome shirt, man."
Oh, I have one of those.
Thank you, Adriel, for providing me with my awesome shirt that got me a nice compliment.
There we go. Yeah. Awesome. And Mo, you didn't have one list down there.
My shout out is to my shooting friend Louis, who became my therapist after the last match. He helped me get over it, so thank you, Louis. And that's it for me.
Did he go soft on you, or did he go hard on you? Some people need the hard. Some people need to joke around with it.
It was a bit of both. It was a bit of both.
So
he listened to me. So
some people, it's like, oh, you want to go to Dairy Queen?
I'm telling you, I was pretty upset for 2 solid days. I couldn't shake it. I was so bothered by it for like many reasons. I was just so bothered by it. But
is this the first time you've been DQ'd?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Well,
look at Adriel. He got over it. Just takes a couple dozen.
No, I don't want.
I can still remember mine. I can still remember.
I don't want that ever to happen again. So.
Yeah. Oh, but it's gonna.
It will eventually.
Don't say that.
Yeah, you're gonna come around the corner of that target, and you're just gonna be right at the 90. And
no.
There's
all
we're
sorts
doing.
of stuff.
If you don't get DQ'd once in a while, you're not pushing it hard enough. But
yeah, it's
like
true.
Mine
don't be telling me this, please.
I had a pistol coming out of my holster because I was coming out of a car and I didn't notice it, and it fell on the ground. And so Sarah, that's just gonna happen. Who cares? And then I had a rifle come out of a barrel because I threw it in because I was mad, and it hit the mag well.
Bounce back.
bounced out. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, that's happened to me. Like, not recently. I think I've gone more than a couple of years now without disqualifying, but it happens, and it like stuff happens, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
you got your first one out of the way, and the second one might be years from now.
You know what, Mo? I
gotten
know
one.
somebody who drove 12 hours to get to a match and got DQ their first string.
Yeah, see that.
Oh, that's
This-
bad.
Ooh,
This one wasn't so far. It was an hour 45 there, but yeah, that would be horrific, right?
my first and only DQ, drove down to Phoenix to achieve that one.
Ah,
Oh,
That's a long drive.
oh man.
Was that one of their pistol nights, or was that a proper IPSC?
No, that was Superstition Mountain, Mystery 3-gun.
Oh, down to Phoenix in the States, not like
Yeah.
Phoenix, their gun range in
Oh
Edmonton.
no, Phoenix, Arizona.
oh, wow. Okay.
So,
Oh, that sucks.
the
dude.
last stage on day 2, I had 2 stages left to shoot on the Sunday for the third day. The last stage on day 2, dumped the pistol. My safety hit the side of the dump box, knocked the safety off when I dumped my pistol. So
why you shoot
this
a
time I
Glock.
shaved off the ambi side, and I now switch hands to my left hand and dump like Keith Garcia taught me.
Yeah, you
Ah, that
learn
sucks.
from it, right? Yeah.
That's a tough one, but at least you got most of the match in. It wasn't
Most
just
of
like
it,
the
yeah.
first stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
the first stage, I think of.
Oh, that would have been rough.
Yeah, there had been
a
a little
buddy
bit of
of-
a tantrum.
A buddy of mine DQ'd. I'll tell you a good one, Mo. A buddy of mine, when we first started shooting IPSC, we went to a match at Barrie, and the match at Barrie, we shot the pistol stage, and this was our black badge qualifier, and he DQ'd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So luckily, the RO that was there said, "Well, no, the pistol is separate from the shotgun, so you're good." So you
okay.
you shot your first match, and then you DQ'd on your second match. But they had the shotgun base set up with steel and paper, and it was all intermingled. And it was our first match. I went in, I put all of my slugs in one pocket, shot them, made sure the gun was empty because I was so paranoid. It took me forever to shoot it. I was like 5 minutes or something. Like the top guy was like 15 seconds. Just boop, 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 boop. I'm like 5 minutes. I'm like, screw it. I'm not getting disqualified because I shot right after my buddy.
Yeah.
And he's being all,
So you
he's-
saw that happen then.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, he was being go fast, right? Because he was being cool. So he still had a slug in his gun. He forgot to clear it, and he engaged the steel with a slug.
Slug to steel.
And boom! The
Was that
president
a,
of the president of
stage
the
or
club.
match?
It was a match. It was 2 stages, but it was 2 matches as well. So
Oh, okay.
so he was okay, but he had to have a chat with the safety director. The club president did the exact same thing 5 minutes later.
Those candy cane stages, they'll get you.
Yeah.
They'll get you
Yeah.
in those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least you didn't DQ on your first match. So, but
That's a
the
hard
noise
one.
was cool. It was awesome. Like just
Yeah, well, they
wrap the plate around
cranked
the
it.
slug. It was great. Plate goes flying over the berm. We're like, oh well, how about that?
A lot of energy when it's all in one piece.
Oh yeah.
Anywho, check us out on Gunners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. Give us a review on Facebook. And we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Good night, Kelly. Good
Trevor.
night,
Trevor.
Trevor. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Everyone else is here, so we're good.